Okay? The meaning of canon and non, or not, canon. And you cannot even see it. Great. Well, let me try something. Okay, now you can see it. I've been seeing this a lot lately. Mostly on one thing. The one thing I always keep seeing from the fan base I'm part of is the Dragon Ball fandom. Dragon Ball. But which one am I talking about? You could technically call the first one Z and Super to be part of the Dragon Ball canon, but one thing I keep on seeing, the movies I think I spelled that right. Movies of Dragon Ball, and the one thing people hate, GT. I do not know why so many of the Dragon Ball fans, or the Dragon Ball community, barely likes GT. In my honest offense, to me, I don't know if my phone will ever catch me, but I know I'm going to trigger some people, but canon depends on you. Like, if we take the consideration of the Dragon Ball comics or manga, technically, they're their own separate canon. Yeah, that's right. The freaking comic or manga, matter of fact, all of it, all happened by its manga. If you don't mind typing what the word manga looks like, I will not. You can hate me all you want by not knowing what the word manga is. Even people said the Dragon Ball comics are better in the show of Super. Heck, I see it. So, in my own defense, to me, I rather keep GT canon, but me, I am not, I'm only half of a fan of Dragon Ball Super. So, yeah. Not a big fan of Super, because I actually, well, I didn't like the ending of some of its episodes. I mean, sometimes GT has proven how disappointing it could be. Now, the movies, people instantly say, not canon. There are major films I would count as canon. Frieza's Big Brother, Cooler, and BoJack, and the Broly movies. Yeah, I know, they usually say when the film comes out, they say they're not canon. So don't get used to these characters. Broly got 3 movies before he got rebooted. I am glad Broly being canon, but is almost as confusing as some other fandom. And what fandom I'm talking about, I'm also a part of. And I see this a lot. And I thought of this video when I was watching Firebrand, explaining why he thinks to himself the comics are not canon. And MLP, aka My Little Pony, has many forms of canon. I will be talking about the 4th generation, because that is the one I watch. So, MLP has movies and comics. But the one thing I keep seeing people doing is saying the movies aren't technically canon, but some people think the comics are not because it's a separate canon. I'm basically saying I believe in some of the films My Little Pony Generation 4 did. I mean, it did spawn a mini show, aka EG. What is EG? My Little Pony Equestria Girls. And me, I would technically call that canon, but I don't want to see. The only problem I have with MLP becoming humans, they're not the skin color of their voice actress, or what fandoms have been doing. Like how Twilight in some human forms I see, either she's white or black. And she is voiced by a white woman. But this lady who plays Twilight played Sari Sundak in Transformers Animated. So, if you meet somebody, they will say, no, the My Little Pony movies are not canon to my eyes. But you might say, yeah, the comics are canon. I need to stop killing my thoughts in my eyes. Sure, you could try to convince them. How do they explain the stories after the events? Like, if you try to skip over to My Little Pony, the movie, and the other season, it shows the map getting bigger, because they went far off. So if you're the type of guy who would skip the movies and be confused as heck what's going on, so me, I would technically say all of them are canon, but the one thing is so important, and it ended a few months ago, and that is Steven Universe. I put SU because I I just don't. I know how to spell Steven, I just don't know how to spell universe. But I know I could have easily done that, but man. The one thing I heard about the Steven Universe community, Steven only got one movie, and people are fine with that being canon. Even Rebecca Sugar said the comics are also canon in Steven Universe. And the mobile games of Steven Universe are also canon. But Rebecca Sugar also says, and possibly some of its staff, I forgot what the video said, I just remember when, after watching Firebrand's video, Atrid Fox said the video games and the comics, if you don't want to say they're canon, Rebecca Sugar said canon number 2. That's right. The games and the comics are both. Rebecca Sugar basically helped us by saying there could be 2 different types of canons. And those 2 types of canons she has created is in comics and video games. Sure, many fans can easily put this in chronological order. Before the Steven Universe show, and connecting it with the comics and the games. But if you don't want them to be canon, Rebecca Sugar said, well, I said it earlier, they're canon number 2. Basically, they are canon, but to you, they're possibly an alternate universe, and all these events are happening. So, I'm basically saying, I would consider the comics and games and the movie of Steven Universe canon. But like I said earlier, I don't like Dragon Ball Super so much, so I would technically call that non-canon for me. But for you fans, you think they should stay canon. But to me, Dragon Ball Super is non-canon and GT is canon to me. So, I am basically saying you could say the TV show is always going to be canon, but anything else will not make sense to you. You don't think of it's canon. But the writers of My Little Pony, Steven Universe, Dragon Ball, well, even Dragon Ball thinks GT was bad, but to some fans like me, I either think it's canon or not. And I will do a video about reboots. To me, some reboots are good, some are bad. I will talk about this later in another day. Also, I'm working on my Minecraft world, and I thought I would start at a blank slate, but no. I was sadly wrong. So, the meaning of canon and not canon, I'm basically trying to say to you, it matters. Not half the time. I don't know why people argue. If you believe it's non-canon, then you think it's non-canon. But people think it is canon. Let them have their own perspective, their own seeing into it. Like I exampled before. A guy doesn't want to watch My Little Pony shows because of Equestria Girls. But most of the stories actually happen off screen, actually happen in Equestria Girls. Even some events, heck, you could say Equestria Girls is canon. Because it is. Sunset Shimmer actually met Starlight Glimmer. So, it depends if you want it to be canon or not. To me, half of the Ben 10 episodes I've seen, I just wish they were never canon. Even, weirdly enough, I want the movies to be canon too. But people believe in the Ben 10 movies are the Secrets of the Omnitrix and Ben 10 Destroy All Aliens. Because that movie is akin to the sequel to that film. Continuing what happened after Ben threw Vilgax into space. But here's the thing. Even Ben 10 has multiple continuities. Like how everybody learns Ben's secret twice. At the end of the first show, in its final episode, people knew about Ben being a boy who has a watch that can turn into aliens. But in Ben 10 Ultimate, they discovered that secret again. So, it depends if you want to say they got their memories erased or something like that. Either way, I would consider some of the various episodes of Ben 10 to not be canon. In the live-action movies are almost canon. I'll explain that later in another video. So, this is Sean, signing off, and peace. I really hope this works. Son of a crud.